Hey brother! Today we're going to be tackling one of the oldest questions in all of Pixar. A question as old as Toy Story itself. If Buzz Lightyear believes he's a space ranger, then why does he freeze? Over the years, people have come up with many explanations for this phenomenon. Possibly, as a space ranger, Buzz is using caution and training around humans, which are clearly a much larger species. It's purely self-preservation. Maybe he's copying the actions of others to be accepted into their culture.
I've been accepted into your culture.
But possibly the most common explanation is that it's a psychological reaction. Much like the fight or flight phenomenon most creatures experience when threatened. Except in psychology, there is actually a third possible phenomenon, which is quite literally freeze.
Freeze.
We are all subject to this. If you are threatened, your body will quite literally run from the threat, fight the threat, or freeze in hopes that the predator will just move on. Exhibit A. Can you see me? It's not a bad explanation, except Buzz is going to be spending a tremendous amount of time around Andy, and over a long enough period of time, I think he's going to start to realize that Andy is not a threat. So that theory kind of works until it doesn't, and if it were true, I think the entire Pixar universe would be overrun with tiny little Buzz Lightyears. I think the explanation is actually much simpler, and in order to answer it, I think we have to zoom back a little bit and not just ask, why does Buzz freeze, but ask, why do toys freeze? But before that, we need to zoom back even further and ask, how and why do toys even come to life at all? Our theory is, when a kid plays with a toy and gives it its love, energy, and attention, they're also giving it life. Think of it like the energy being captured in Monsters, Inc. Except in this case, instead of the energy being stored in canisters, it's being stored directly in the toys themselves. So without that human interaction, they can lose their ability to come to life. And this theme is explored in all three movies. In Toy Story, we see the toys fearfully listening in as Andy opens presents that could replace them.
Any dinosaur-shaped ones?
In Toy Story 2, we see Jessie in fear of going back into storage, where she was presumably lifeless for some period of time.
I can't do storage again, I just can't!
Jesse!
I won't go back in the dark!
And in Toy Story 3, Lotso essentially guarantees immortality by setting up shop in a daycare where he has an endless supply of children.
When the kids get old, new ones come in. When they get old, new ones replace them.
But if they can come to life, why do they freeze? Personally, I would love it if my toys came to life. But because rules.
Okay, I think I know what to do. We're going to have to break a few rules.
The way they're portrayed, it's easy to believe the toys have free will and choice, but they exist for a purpose, which is to be played with. Just listen to this lyric during Buzz's tragic coming-of-toy moment.
Now I know exactly who I am and what I'm here for.
You are a toy you can't fly!
Now I know exactly what I am and what I am here for. They're brought to life by kids' love and exist to be played with by them. It boils down to their very purpose in life. So they are bound by their very purpose to freeze in the presence of kids. And while it may seem cool for the toys to come to life, we saw what happened when Woody revealed himself to Sid.
So play nice.
But Ben, you still haven't answered my question. We can understand why toys in general freeze. They know they're toys. Buzz doesn't think he's a toy. Why does Buzz freeze? Buzz isn't alone in this camp. There are other toys whose personalities are confined to the type of toy that they are. For example, the Green Army Men and Barbie. The Green Army Men know they are toys, but still act like army men.
A good soldier never leaves a man behind.
And Barbie is the same way, living up to all of the materialistic branding that her toy is about.
I'm Tour Guide Barbie!
In contrast, toys like Ham, Rex, Slink, and Mr. Potato Head don't act like pigs, dinosaurs, dogs, or talking potatoes? They know what they represent, but their creation as a toy was for the sole intent of being a toy. Simply objects meant to be played with, and not specifically based on anything or with any particular branding in mind. Now, finally, that leads us to Buzz. Buzz is a step in the complete opposite direction. Buzz is the victim of what we are going to refer to as placebo branding. Hashtag placebo branding. follow me on Twitter. You've of course heard of the placebo effect. It's basic mind over matter. If you're sick and given a fake treatment that you believe to be real, the expectation that that treatment is going to help can sometimes heal you on its own. The same is true for Buzz. Instead of a pill, his mentality is being influenced by extensive branding that comes from being based on a real character.
You actually think you're the Buzz Lightyear?
Oh, all this time I thought it was an act.
And he's not alone. Zurg falls victim to the same problem in Toy Story 2, and if you've seen Toy Story That Time Forgot, the battle stores have an entire society that's based around their branding. So why does Buzz freeze? Because no matter how hard you believe it, it doesn't stop the truth from being true.
You are a toy!
You can believe sticking your hand into a fire isn't going to hurt you, but good luck with that. Buzz can believe he's a space ranger all he wants, but he's still inside this box. The toy box. This branding mindset seems to subside though. As the toys played with more and more, they cease to be what they were originally branded as and turn into whatever their kid makes them. Woody is probably the greatest example of this. He's been played with so much that he no longer remembers his original branding and exists only as Andy's toy. So Jay, for my question of the day, what do you think? Is this why Buzz freezes, or do you have your own explanation? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the towel section down below. Also, in case you missed Tuesday's video, Jay talked about whether or not Sid is a bad kid. He had a really good argument, so I recommend you go and check that video out right over here. Also, Jay and I are going to be at Playlist Live this weekend, so if you don't already, be sure to go and follow us both on Twitter and Instagram so you can see all of our adventures. Jay, that is everything that I have for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.